Marc Marquez has had multiple incredible race performances across his decade-long career in MotoGP. Most of them involve qualifying at the front, running away during the race, and finishing ahead by several seconds. However, the one race that stands out more in recent memory than any other was his dominance of the 2022 Grand Prix of the Americas at COTA. This was an unreal comeback performance that cemented Marc Marquez as the King of COTA. What this race showed wasn't only his incredible discipline and lack of empathy for any other rider on the grid, it showed his complete stubbornness to not give up without riding at and beyond the limit for every single moment of the race. But before we go through this incredible race, let's have a quick look at what Marquez was up against going into this race. COTA's in Austin, Texas, and it's just under 3.5 miles long. It's got 20 corners in total, and this particular race was going to last around 40 minutes with 20 laps. Now, COTA is a relatively long track with a mixture of everything. It's got slow, medium and fast corners, fast changes of direction, huge braking zones, as well as technical sections which all provide great racing, and more importantly, great overtaking opportunities. That's going to be important a little bit later on. But one of the main issues with COTA is it's a really bumpy track. The main reasons COTA is so bumpy is the clay soil underneath the track. Clay soil is really soft, and coupled with water erosion, the track is literally sinking in some areas. There's also the immense heat, so the track surface is affected as well. It's not just the soil underneath causing the issues. All in all, it's not a pleasant experience to race on, even with the track owners taking measures to grind the track surface down to make it smoother. As you can imagine, a bumpy track can become a real problem we've seen in MotoGP before, bikes losing grip over these bumps, and Marc is notorious for being aggressive on the front end of the bike, so this raises risks of an accident. Marquez was also recovering from an injury he sustained in the warm-up of the Indonesian Grand Prix. Because of that accident, he missed 2 rounds and with it lost a large amount of track time compared to everyone else. And to top it all off, Honda was performing okay, but with the rise of Ducati, the Honda certainly wasn't the best bike on the grid. Ducati actually dominated qualifying at COTA in 2022, locking out 1st to 5th. All in all, the odds weren't in his favour. However, Marc has an incredible record at COTA. He's won a total of 7 times, taking back-to-back victories between 2013 and 2018 and another in 2021. So he's got a proven track record at COTA. He's no slouch here, so expectations were pretty high. Qualifying for the race was pretty uneventful. Marc qualified P9 and was the highest placed Honda on the grid. And this was, in all honesty, a really great position to be in. There's quite a few opportunities where he can make use of his relentless pace. Unfortunately for him though, it all came crashing down at the start. When the lights went out, Marc's bike bogged down and he got overtaken by every single rider on the grid. He went from 9th to 24th in less than 200 yards. But for Marc, it didn't matter at all. This was simply a minor setback. For him, he got his head down and focused his attention on getting through the field as quickly as he could. Now you'd think it would take a little bit of time for Marc to gather his thoughts to start pushing through the field. Well, it didn't. It took all of 4 corners before Marc had already made up a place, and that was just the start of it. If we quickfire the positions he gained on lap 1, he gained 1 place at turn 4, 1 after sending it round the outside of turn 8 and turn 9, another 1 into turn 11, another 2 places into turn 12, and he got past his brother on the exit of 13 after nearly crashing into the back of him. That's a quarter of the field dispatched in lap 1. 2 laps later, Marc managed to gain another 4 places. With 17 laps to go, he did have a small scare into turn 1, nearly taking out Brad Binder in the process, but again, just another minor setback. With 15 laps to go, Marc was up to 12th with a late move up the inside of Binder at the last corner. By this point, the field had started to spread out quite a bit. His next target was his teammate Pol Espargaro. It took 6 laps for him to catch up, and he made the pass going into turn 12. That secured him P10. The pace he had was just unbelievable. He was riding past everyone like they were standing still. But the top 10 at this point was really broken up. A win surely wasn't on the cards, but it didn't stop Marquez from pushing as hard as he could. With 11 laps to go, he'd taken his original qualifying position of 9th, and next up on the list was the reigning world champion Fabio Quartararo. There was a small helping hand from Quartararo and Johann Zarco battling for position, and after a scrap between the two allowing Marc to catch up, he got past Zarco after he ran wide and dispatched Fabio soon after with 7 laps to go. Marc was entering the final stages of the race. There were still potential positions to be gained, but he had to look after his tyres. One small error of pushing too hard and it would all be for nothing. But even in these closing stages, Marc was catching up to Jorge Martin, who was running in 6th, and with 4 laps to go, he made a move and managed to make it work. With more laps, Marc could have easily made up more positions, but 6th was where he ended up. Personally, I still can't get around how he went from 9th to 24th and then back up to 6th in just over 40 minutes, a net gain of 3 positions. The dominance he showed simply beggars belief. No, he didn't win, but he was only 6.6 seconds behind Bastianini, who won the race. So do you think Marc would have won? Personally, I think he would have, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.